Let me see if this is good. Okay. So I wrote some stuff down today. Uh, tonight's topic is fear, and it's going to be a pretty broad topic. Well, again, this is a routine I must get into. I got to thank Louis for my frappedaki and my sponsor. And I do want to say that this is my opinion. I'm no means a professional at this. And being my opinion, it's only for entertainment purposes. Okay. So just want to make that clear to everybody because again, I am no expert in any field. I know absolutely nothing. I'm making that a fact known. Hello, who do I have? Hello, Mr. Alex. Let's see if I can get this thing to get bigger so I don't need my glasses. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so hello, Ashley. And again, tonight's topic is about fear. It's subconscious, it's conscious, it's performed, it's epigenetic, it's also in our DNA. And it began from the beginning of time of our species. Basically, that struggle and the struggle to survive has to do with DNA programming. The epigenetic aspect is how we see our existence. So if I'm more likely going to get sick. If I say I'm sick, I'm more likely not to get sick. That's more the epigenetic aspect. The conscious part of fear is if you're in a field and a dog comes charging at you that's a pretty small dog, you're gonna jump regardless. You're gonna be like, holy crap, that thing is gonna bite me. Okay, so that's the conscious part of fear. Very powerful and very helpful to our conscious evolution. Now, this whole thing being an illusion, it's sort of like a game, so to speak. There is a hack, and these hacks are basically all around us. And fear is also hackable. Fear is also able to be conquered. Okay, so um, let me begin. So we went to the DNA, the epigenetic, and the conscious fear. The fear that is a comfort zone, that is a complicated one. Let's see. The fear of like, does that include comfort? Yes, it's a comfort zone fear that has to do with your everyday life. That is one of the hottest ones to overcome because it's a lot easier to eat a pound of cake than to eat a pound of meat. So that comfort zone is what allows us to stay in subconscious fear. Okay. And that subconscious fear is what maintains our attachment to those habits that are not serve us. Hello, Sarah. So that comfortable fear is what allows us to fall into that subconscious, unconscious fear. All right. So if we are having a body pain, my leg hurts right now. Ow, ow, ow. I can focus on it. Hello, Carol. I can focus on it. Okay. And that fear is going to make that pain real. That pain is going to become stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger until basically you have to take some kind of medicine to make that pain stop, like an Advil or a Tylenol or something more heavy that people get addicted to. And then that recircles that loop of fear. Okay. Hi, Julia. So it's uh it's a pit of sorrow when we have a fear of like rejection, for example, or a fear of not being good enough, or even a fear of public speaking, or even a fear of picking your nose in public, right? Some people fear pooping in public. I mean, I know sometimes I do. Have you seen some of them porta potties? Nasty. So, uh, but it is, it is like, I have so many notes written down here. It is one of those negative thoughts that yet never gets replaced by a positive, an alternate thought that leads the same pathways in the brain, open to the same comfort of accepting what it is you fear. Maybe you fear not being a good leader. Maybe you fear not being a good parent. Who knows? I know when my kids first came out of the womb, I was scared. I had the fear that I was not going to be good enough to supply them with the comfort of living. And that's a very common thing for a father. Okay. But what changed that around is me saying, no, I am good enough. I am going to make it. I am going to succeed in what it is that I fear. Okay. So for me personally, every time I have a negative thought, I replace it with an alternate thought. Okay. So, like, if I'm thinking that I can't do something, I'm thinking, well, I do it and this will happen. I do it and this will happen. I do it and this will happen. And I almost kind of make it like a mantra. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But if you replace a negative thought with an alternative thought of what possibly is, then that is rewiring the synopsis or the firing of the cells and the pathways in the brain that allows you to step out of that comfort zone, to step out of that fear zone, to step into the possibility that you can succeed. Okay. I mean, we all know about the secret, and it says if you believe in $1 million, you will manifest it in your pocket. Right. But I also know that if you believe that you're a follower, you're always going to stay a follower. You'll always be treated like one as well. Because you will stand, walk, and speak like a follower. You will stand, walk, and speak like a poor person. You will miss the opportunities to allow yourself to make that $1 million, to allow yourself to become that what you are, an amazing freaking human being. When you came out as from a baby, you were just perfect. There's nothing, there was nothing wrong with you. Even if you had a mental disability, there was nothing wrong with you. Okay? That's what we're not seeing. We're not seeing that perfection because it's overtaken by fear. And that fear has many different phases, but once it reaches that comfort within us that we don't see a way out of it, that pain is going to be real. That pain is going to be excruciating. That pain is going to be taking over your life, and you're going to seek ways to protect yourself. And that's what sucks. It sucks because it's valid, but that's how the game is played. The game is played for you to fail, for you to not succeed. Is it a perfect player? No. Is there a perfect path to live without fear? No. Again, if there's a small little chihuahua running at me in the field, I'm gonna run like a little bitch. I'm gonna run and say, he's gonna bite me, he's gonna bite me, he's gonna bite me. Because I can easily handle a chihuahua. I'm almost 200 something pounds. I can, no problem. That thing is only 5 pounds. But my mind, why am I running away from the teeth? Okay, that's the DNA, right? The problem with that, it transfers into the energy of the game. The existence that we're living in is the game. And that transfers into the simulation. And now everybody has access to it. And everybody's connected through me running like a little bitch from a little chihuahua. But that's not how we see it. Okay. And that everyone else is going to experience the same fears unless they have an adapted solution to what it is that they want to conquer. An adapted solution for what it is that they want to conquer. Why is it adapted? I mean, what do you adopt? Basically, adopt a thought. And that thought is the key. And that thought is canceling out the back and forth of the pathways of the brain, right? That thought is saying, oh, what is it? It's a possibility. It is a thread that is available and possible. So I can't change in order to access what I want. So that's what you're adopting. You're adopting a thought. Okay. And to adapt to that mindset, you really have to be conscious of it. You have to be aware that you are having these feelings and emotions that do not serve you. And you have to be aware that that thought is accessible to you. Okay. So you, if you turn yourself into a person that won't run away from a chihuahua, then that's who you're going to become. Okay. You're going to become that person because you're no longer seeing those teeth and running from them. You're seeing a little furry creature that was misbehaving, not because it wanted to, but because the owner didn't properly teach it. You see the difference? There is a huge comfort in me running from those teeth, but there's also a huge comfort in me embracing those teeth and saying, okay, little guy, I can pet you. I'm not going to be afraid, right? Because you'll feel me. My environment will be felt externally that I am creating within. And that is the hack. That is the complete hack. That what I am manufacturing in thought or what I am producing in thought will translate outward into the reality, which is the projection. Okay. So if I am not producing that projection, I'm going to run like a little bitch. Little chihuahua's going to get me. Right. But if I'm projecting a controlled, strong thought, that chihuahua is going to stop cold in its tracks and say, whoa, this guy means business. I'm going to back off. Right. How many times have we seen that? Hundreds. So if you allow that failing, or not, sorry, wrong word. If you allow that thought of rejection to conquer you, that thought of I'm not good enough to conquer you. I mean, ladies and gentlemen don't have a good time the first time they have a union because that fear of not being good enough is there, which is unfortunate because you only have so many unions in your lifetime unless you're getting paid for union. You know what I mean? All right. So, and that opportunity has a beginning and an end, and that beginning is when you actually talk within your mind with an alternate outcome to that fear. Okay. And the end is you adapting your new thought, making it a new comfort level until you're ready to break that comfort level and replace it with another thought to climb higher. So each thought has a conquering, and each thought has a layer that could be overcome just by reprogramming it, reprogram with another thought. Okay. And that thought is the beginning. Okay. So I have, see, I got notes. So how long would it take? How long would it take to reprogram a thought? Well, it depends how entrenched it is in your being. It depends how entrenched it is in your comfort. Most of our fears come from programming from childhood. Then they get passed along through affirmative actions or affirmative reactions. So if I start running from the dog is going to be like, okay, I'm going to chase this guy until he says enough. So that's the action I'm talking about. Um, if you have a problem with alcohol and you can't stop it, you need to have that drink in order to feel in the comfort zone. So these are me and smoking. Just the thought of sitting there smoking is a repetitive muscle memory, is a repetitive firing of the rewards and the failures and blah 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 blah. And it's harder to let go just by having that thought. But the bottom line is you can change that thought rather quickly. And it could take up to 3 months because, like some things like alcohol go in deeper and nicotine, not so much, believe it or not. But I like it. That's the problem is you like something. How can you change the thought? How can you change it or give it an alternative thought to make it go away? Because a lot of people like that comfort, like the pain that they're in, like that uncomfortable situation that they get themselves in, and they seek it out. And that makes them feel comfortable. Like I used to play hockey. I used to love to fight. I'm a big guy. I'll throw down with anybody. But to go out of my way to look for a fight with a bigger, much bigger dude, it's pretty stupid. That's how you break teeth. That's how you break noses, right? That's how you get knocked out for no reason, only because you're seeking the thrill of the fight. And I used to do that. I used to like to fight guys that were bigger than me. Okay. But as you get older, you get wiser. And as you get wiser, you see that fear controls a majority of your life. And to break away from that fear, whether it's comfortable or uncomfortable, epigenetic, DNA, or whatever that fear is, you can do it. The hack is there for you to rewire your brain. And again, it could take 3, 4 months. But if you make it into a mantra, I know my guy Nick, he made a mantra for himself to get out of the habitual loathing of losing a girlfriend or not having the girl that he wanted. And that mantra brought him fame, it brought him riches, and it brought him a calmer state of mind. Now, does he still think about that girl? Once in a while, he still will. Once in a while. But it's not every second. It's not every day. It's not compulsively wondering what the hell she's doing. Right? Nick got over it because he reprogrammed his brain, right, Alex? He reprogrammed his brain for something that was more positive for him. Okay. So, and that's how you do it. You you want to stay in spoiled diapers, you can. And unfortunately, we do. We do. We like that spoiled diaper feeling because we're comfortable. You ask any 10, whatever, 1 year old, if they're like sitting in diapers, they're not too happy about it. Okay. And that's what we do. We give validation that I am not a leader. I'm going to accept my faith. I'm going to be a follower. And that's that. I call bullshit. Right. I don't have $1 million. I will never have $1 million. You're not going to. Okay. I can't do this. I can't do this. I won't do this. Hell's fucking no. Guess what? It's not going to happen. Right. Like my boy is being so much broccoli, he's going to be pooping green. Right. But the fear of him not eating that broccoli is like in his head that it's the best food that was ever created. And it's a good fear, right? Because broccoli's good for you. But at the same time, too much of a good thing at the same time, because I'm sure how many times you're going to poop tomorrow? 10. 10, at least 10 times. He has no fear of pooping in porta potties. I know I do. God damn it. Alrighty. So that's the pretty much the nuance of fear. And there is other more deeply stated DNA or epigenetic fears that are harder to control because vibrational attachment has value. And since you are not allowing yourself to speak it into creation or think it into creation, that vibrational attachment becomes rigid. And that vibrational attachment, once rigid, totally controls, right? And that's that yin and yang that one cannot exist without the other. Therefore, a union is formed and it is now complete. So for DNA and epigenetics, it is a legitimate thing. Okay. So, but it's not a legitimate thing for the comfortable fear, the uncomfortable fear, the subconscious fear, because you do have a pathway for an alternative thought or an alternative vision or an alternative mindset or an alternative blah blah blah. You have that option to change what it is you fear. Okay. And yes, it's been done before. It's no secret. And that secret is like, do it. Okay. Yes, you can. Oh, I need $1 million. Do it. Things are going to come to you. Opportunities are going to come to you. Little subtle things are going to happen in your life that you will make $1 million. But what do? We give up after a while because we're not good enough. We don't deserve it. Blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. You do deserve it. It's how you go about creating it. Right? It's how about you go about attracting it to create it. That's the secret. You got to attract it to create it. Okay. You can attract anything, but that doesn't mean anything. Right. As long as if you don't create what you attract, then you're missing the whole friggin' picture. And the whole picture is that this simulation, this reality has hacks, has opportunities, has rigid rules that you can overcome, you can bend and weave, you can even go for a layup if you have the opening. Why not? But if there's a 500-foot you standing over that rim, how the hell are you going to get that easy layup if you're in your own way, right? So if you're on your own way, there's no way that you're going to get that basket. And I will always be running from a Chihuahua. You know why? I can't stand the little pricks. If it was a Yorkie, I'd be like, "Come here, little boy." All right, but that's my opinion. That's what that's what it is. I mean, I know people will like love their Chihuahuas, but I've owned a Chihuahua. I was never close to it ever. My Yorkie, different story. He was smaller than Pedro, much smaller than Pedro. He was a cup. He was like this big, literally. But then that dog would yap at everything and actually bite ankles. No joke. But that was my boy. Okay. Um, that's pretty much what I have to say on the topic. Can you all think of anything that I am missing or forgetting? Okay, so is that third time you change your YouTube? Yes, I do change my YouTube channel because I'm trying to find a good name that fits this realm. And since it's accessible, why not call it Realm Access? I think that's the final change, though. But sorry to disappoint you. Okay, so does anyone have a question? Thank you, Ashley. I like it too. Alrighty. So if no one has a questions, I'm going to wrap it up. We can talk more about it uh, live if you'd like. And how do you all like my greens behind me? I don't know. All right, everybody. I thank you for watching. Really, Nick? Why you got to be so loud, man? All right. So that's it. Thank you for watching, everybody. You all have a beautiful week. Peace.